Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe's Classic Video Games, back with another cool pinball repair video for you today. We've got an interesting one today. This is one of the most dirty playfields I've ever seen on any of our pinball machines. This is a beautiful Williams pat hand pinball machine. Now, if you don't know, a pat hand means, I'm not much of a gambler myself, but you know, I've been known to do a thing or two. I think a pat hand is, you're playing poker, and they deal you 5 cards, and you pick it up, and all the cards are good to go. You don't need another card. You've got a pat hand, right? So on the back glass, it has this strange combination of geisha girl and poker cards. I like it. So you can see she actually does have a pat hand. She's got a, is that a royal flush? 10, jack, queen, king, and an ace. She's got a royal flush. Or is that a straight? They're all the hearts and the spades. I think that don't matter, I guess. That's interesting. Yeah, you know, I noticed this before. There are hearts and spades all over the playfield. There's no clubs and no diamonds. What's that all about? They got something against the clubs and the diamonds? Look at the condition this playfield is in. Now, if you've never messed with these, you might see this and go, oh, the playfield's destroyed. It's actually not all that bad. Yeah, it's filthy, but I think it's going to clean right up. This is just a lot of dust. It looks like somebody left the glass off of it and then worked on their car. We picked this up out of a garage at this lady's house, and I think that might be what happened. Maybe they were sanding something, and so it's got all of this really fine white dust all over it. That I believe is going to come right off. So we're going to get Joe to work through this sucker a little bit. See if we can make it much better. We put this sign on it so people would stop, you know, tripping. Come on, people. It's vintage dust. That's dust from the 80s. That's good, the good stuff. It's got some cobwebs. So we may see a big transformation on this one, because it's going to go from pretty destroyed to looking pretty good, I think. Now, you know, we touch up these playfields with paint, and so we're going to do a little bit of that too because of these pop bumpers. These pop bumper caps, I believe, are only on this machine and one other. So if you want these caps, it's hard to find them. They didn't use them very much, so I don't think anybody's ever made a reproduction of them, although I may be wrong. But if you look around the pop bumper here, there is a lot of wear, and the paint has worn off. So we're going to have to touch that up, make that look a lot better. I had one of these before. This is a very fun game in my opinion, but little secret, I like all of them. But I do like this one better than I like most of the other ones. It's just kind of fun to play. And the last one that we had, I think what I did was I just put a sticker there, like a ring that was designed to cover pop bumper wear. And I think I put like a green sticker there or a yellow sticker or something. I'll see if I can find a picture and I'll splice it in. So that's what I did with the previous one. But on this one, we're going to paint it back in so we can leave it barefaced. It doesn't need that. So we'll see if we can paint that the way it was originally intended, and we'll see if Joey can clean this sucker up for us. So we'll clean everything off the playfield first. We're going to use, we usually just use literally Windex to clean it. Now, not the greatest idea on something that's in really nice shape, but this thing is filthy. You've got to have something with some kind of cleaning power just to clean it up, you know. So we're going to use soapy water, which is what Windex is. So we're going to use just soapy water, clean it up, and then we're going to use a magic eraser, the stuff, the Mr. Clean magic eraser. You go over this sucker with a magic eraser, and the reason that works is because it has little fine, it's a very fine foam. And so it's really good for cleaning. That's why they use it to clean things. It's basically sandpaper, but it's very, very, very fine. And those little tiny pieces of foam can get down in all of the cracks in the playfield, which is where all the dirt likes to live. So you can see all of this streaking. And notice that it continues into the paint. Nothing will clean that out. But if you put a magic eraser on it, it will clean a lot of it out. You can't get it perfect, but you'll get it a lot better than this. So it's just a great product that people use to clean pinball playfields. I also need to say, because a lot of people seem to be confused, this is a wooden playfield with paint silk screened on it. This is completely different than a modern playfield. On a modern playfield, they have a thick clear coat on them, and you are trying to clean the clear coat. Some people would argue how thick the clear coat is. Most of them have a thick clear coat on it. You are trying to clean the clear coat. On these old ones, you don't have the same thing going on. You've got lacquered wooden playfields. It's a whole different ballgame. So the things that you use to clean a modern playfield are a little different than the things that you use to clean an old one like this that's obviously seen much better days, is completely filthy, and was built differently to begin with. So we're going to clean it up. This is the best way, in my opinion, to clean up an old EM playfield. You'll hear people say, oh, you can polish it with Novus. Novus is great. It ain't going to do a damn thing for this. I mean, this thing is filthy. You got to get all of this dirt off of it, and we're about to show you how. So stay tuned. Alright folks, I decided to do the green. It's like a bluish green. It's like a seafoam green first that's missing. And kind of use it as a primer. So the way I mixed it was I used Hauser light green. I've used that on a bunch of stuff. And why did I pick that? Because it just kind of seemed like it's a similar tone, it's just too green. And then I mixed in some of this sea glass, which is like kind of like a blue-ish green. And it wasn't quite right. And so it was a little bit too green and not quite blue enough. And so I mixed in a little bit of this Bahama blue, which got it where it seemed like it was the right tone, but it was just too light. And so then I put a little bit of this Hauser medium green, just because it's kind of a dull but a little bit darker green. I put that in, and it seems to be a pretty good match. So I've touched up, there was a little bit of flipper drag right there that I touched up, and it's, you know, it's really close. Now this, whenever you're doing this on your machine, there is a, you're working against the illusion of repainting the proper color. So like if you look up here, this is after we cleaned it. See how a little tiny bit of the paint came off? Joey was trying to work on that. He couldn't get all that dirt off. It's just in there. It's like almost like somebody cleared over it or something. I don't know. But you can see all the different colors that you've got here. This is one color where it's unfaded underneath the post. And then you've got these colors with the dirt still in it, where you're starting to see some of the grain of the wood through and everything. That's a completely different color than that. So you don't really have to get it perfect. The way, because you're not going to get it perfect anyway. So what I always try to do is I try to make it as close as I can, and if anything, to be just a little bit darker than the original. Whenever you have thin lines like this, where it's, you know, only a little bit of this is going to show, whenever you have thin lines like this, you can have it pretty far off right next to a part that's pretty bright, and you won't be able to tell. You'll never see it because the line's so thin. If you have a big area like this, and if I were to repaint this, you would see that hard line transition from here to there. It'd be real obvious. But whenever you're doing just like little line sections, you're not going to notice the difference, even if it's pretty severely off. We're not off very far. It's pretty close. So I'm going to let that dry a little bit, and then I'm going to shape all of that with the black ink. So we've got these black Posca pens, where they're acrylic paint. It's an Italian company. It's Japanese paint that an Italian company uses. It has something to do with Mitsubishi. Posca Uni pens. But it's not the typical like a Sharpie or anything. It's acrylic paint. So we're going to use those. They're not even expensive. They're pretty cheap. If you're interested in any of those and you don't see any online or any near you, you can get them on our website. Go to lionsarcade.com. There's a parts page with a bunch of links to Amazon, and we've got that on there. You can see some of the stuff that we use whenever we work on these machines on our website. So I'm going to let that dry a little bit, and then we'll start drawing in the black lines, which, you know, we're going to kind of be drawing in reverse. So hopefully that will get the original design back, and then we'll just paint in the red part that's missing. Alright folks, this is what we ended up with so far. I think it's came out pretty good. Still needs some work. Our touch-up, I think it's pretty decent. I like it. Very cool. It's a new pop bumpers. The caps are original, of course. You can't get those caps. Wouldn't want to anyway because they look really nice. The shooter lane, we need some more wax in. Doesn't look that great yet. Worked on it a little bit. I re-inked the circles in the middle here. Came out pretty good. All new flipper bats. Those came out looking pretty good. New rubber rings everywhere. There is a piece of plastic up there. I think I showed you on the earlier video. That was broken. We found it in the bottom of the machine, but it's not in great shape. But all in all, I think it came out pretty good. So we still have to do a lot of cosmetic stuff. We've got to, I don't know what we're going to do about the front of the cabinet yet. We need the apron cards still. And we still have a whole bunch of stuff to work through, like on the bottom of the playfield, in the back box. We need to work on this actual back glass itself. Needs some work. It looks decent though, the way it is. I wonder if somebody's already messed with it. You know what? Somebody's already screwed around with it, I think. You probably can't tell, but I can tell sitting here looking at it. It looks like maybe somebody's messed with that. But we'll see. You know, I just noticed the little stuff we were painting here, the little, what do you want to call those? The little flame things. They're on the back glass as well in a different color. That's pretty cool. So I think that's a neat little feature. I mean, it looks pretty cool. It's one of those things that you wouldn't really even pay much attention to if you weren't repainting it. You know, like for instance, did you notice over here that the trees that are growing up have little black marks on the bark that are silk screened in, but the bark itself is the wood green? You didn't notice that. Come on now. You didn't notice. You noticed that, huh? So you noticed that? Well, did you notice that one of them has a shadow up here and the other one doesn't? Look, the artist messed that up. Oh, man. He should have done a better. If it was me, I would have done a better job on that. It's such a strange theme. It's Japanese and playing cards at the same time. It's just a strange theme. And you've got this guy here in the middle. Like, what does that represent? He's wearing a kimono or something. And then he's growing out of this little, he's like a statue or something. I don't know. It's not for me to know, people. I just play them. I think they're fun. I've played this game before. I'd say it's a 10 out of a 10. So, join us next time as we keep working through it. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to give us a thumbs up for taking the trouble to film it for you. We didn't have to do that. And if you haven't checked out my brother Donnie, my brother has his own channel here on YouTube. We work on arcade games, pinball machines, and jukeboxes. My brother Donnie works on old buildings, old vehicles, things like that, and he has a farm. So I'll see you over there on his channel. But we'll be back here in a couple days and continue working on this beautiful, fantastic Williams Pat hand.